Everyone, if you can hear me loud and clear, could you type in the chat yes? If you can hear me, please type in the chat yes. I want to be sure that we are all connected and ready to go so that we get started. Biolu is a very scarce person. Having her here is a big privilege. So I do not want to waste our time. We want to get started right away. Welcome Damilare, welcome Ifeoluwa, welcome Tioluwani. I can see I can see a Toluwani and Tioluwani. Welcome everyone. So we're going to get started. Thank you, darling.
I'm so honored to be here. And my name is Biolu, like you know. I'm still going to do a brief introduction of myself again. Today, I'm going to be taking everyone here through the secrets of a winning resume. I know that for you to have come today, you're probably a job seeker, or you have a job, you want to get a better job. You know, you're looking for some sort of employment, or maybe you're a soon-to-be graduate and you're wondering what are the things you need to have by the time you graduate from uni to be able to get the best of jobs. And that is what I'm going to be taking us through today. So for those that don't know who Biolu is, I'll do a brief introduction of myself. Okay, so my name is Biolu. Full name is Biolu Tife. It's actually one name, then I split it up to make Biolu Tife. So my close friends will usually call me Bolu, but generally people call me Bolu or Biolu. And what I do at Biolu's Impressions, at the beginning of this year, I started a company called Biolu's Impressions. It's been around for a while because I used to blog. But this year, I evolved into the corporate aspect of writing. And in January, what I started to do was to begin to help job seekers get their dream jobs. And what I do is I help them optimize their cover letters and their resume. I help them with intensive job search. I help with interview preparation because I realize that people don't have help when it comes to being prepared for interviews. All of us just get out there and then you just go for the interview. Whereas there's a lot more you could be doing. So I began to help people do that. Then I also do a lot of career planning. I guide people through planning their careers, and then I do a lot of motivation. So if you don't like motivational speakers, you can just say, oh, you know what, I don't want to listen to you. But no, I don't do unrealistic motivations. I tell you what's real, and that is how I motivate you. I let you know what is real, what can work, and I motivate you. So because I want this to be very interactive, I'm going to start with a question. Now, I have two candidates here on the screen. We have candidate A and candidate B. Excuse me. They're applying for the same job. What do you think will be the better candidates? Now, the role they're applying for is the role of a business administrator. So there'll be the role of a business administrator for a startup. That means this is a new company and the owner of this company is looking for someone to see to the administration of this business. And this business owner wants to employ someone. Now, two candidates have applied. We have candidate A. Candidate A has an overseas master's in business administration, has done a few internships while studying, but has no full-time experience and is widely traveled. Candidate B has a bachelor's in business administration, has founded and managed several small businesses, successfully manages a mom's lace importing business, and has no corporate experience. This candidate has great interpersonal skills. Now, imagine you were a recruiter and then you have these two candidates to choose from. Just tell us what candidate in the chat box, type which candidate you would choose, and then give us the reason why you're choosing this candidate. I need you to do that fast in chat, please. Just Any simple reason. You don't have to write all your reasons. Just give us one reason. Choose a candidate that you think will be better for the job, and then tell us why you're choosing this candidate.
Okay, so Damilare Onomakinde says that candidate B because this candidate has more hands-on experience.
Okay, thank you so much, Damilare. We'll wait for just one more response and we'll go. So Damilare says, well, this person has hands-on experience, so it has to be candidate B for her. So let's see who else you'll be choosing. Any other person, please? Okay, so now I want you to take this, or let this be one of the things you'll take away from this training today. I don't want you to ever forget this. The better candidate is always the one who presents it better. Now, Damilare, for example, has told us that if she was the recruiter, she would choose candidate B because, well, she feels she has more hands-on experience. Another recruiter might look at candidate A and say that, oh, this person has global exposure, so I think the person will do well for my business. In truth, for real recruiters, what they look out for is the person that presents it better. So it's the same way you have two children. One has, say, a bicycle, an old bicycle, hand me down from maybe the elder brother. It's old, is worn out. Another one has a brand new bicycle. If the person with the brand new bicycle does not take care of his own bicycle, and the person that has this old pass me down bicycle takes care of his own, cleans it, does some pimping to his bicycle, puts some stickers here and there, the person with the better bike would even be jealous of his own old bike. Why? Because this person is presenting his bicycle better. And it's very much this way when it comes to writing your resume or presenting your resume to a recruiter. A lot of people think that, oh, the reason why people get jobs is because, oh, she studied abroad, or it's because, she has a master's. It's totally not true. I've worked in recruitment for a while now, and in my experience, it's not about the things we look at or the things people look at when you're out there. A recruiter is looking for someone with skills. That is what a recruiter is looking for. I'll still tell you what any business owner is looking for in an ideal candidate. But I want you to always take this away with you. How are you presenting your resume? How are you presenting that little that you have to recruiters out there? So I'm going on to the next slide. Now I'm going to show you some of I'm calling it unique selling points, that's USPs of each candidate, because as people, we actually have that thing that makes us unique, that makes us stand out as a candidate. Now, I'll just show you some ideas. I'll pick one or two of some things that each candidate could say that would immediately make a recruiter or a business owner want this person to be on his or her team. So the first is, I'm going to take from, let me pick the annotator so that you can see. Okay. All right. Okay, so here we have the person that has an overseas master's in business administration. Great skill. Oh, it's great that you have an overseas master's. But the question is, how does that translate into the job you're applying for? Now, if the person mentions that, oh, I have great problem-solving skills, or I understand the principles of setting up a strong business structure, now that is something that a CEO or a recruiter can identify with. MBA, a lot of people have MBAs from all over the world. Good MBAs. But what exactly can you do? What exactly is it about that MBA that you can put on your CV that will make you stand out, that will make you attractive to either the recruiter or the business owner? Now, for the second candidate, after mentioning that, oh, she has a bachelor's in business administration, she might want to tell us about her in-depth knowledge of basic principles of a successful business. Because when you do a bachelor's in a course, you actually have the knowledge of basic principles of that course. And that is what the business owner can actually identify with. So making it simple, saying it in a language that actually attracts the business owner or the recruiter will increase your chances of getting a good job. I'll just take one more example. Now, candidate B says she has founded and managed several small businesses, and she successfully manages her mom's lace importing business. She has no corporate experience. Now, usually in my experience working with candidates that want to apply for jobs, they take experiences like this and then they just push it out. They don't talk about it. They feel like, I've been helping my mom for the past 10 years. And you think it's not experience. I've seen a candidate that did an exchange program, a one-year exchange program with a university outside Nigeria. And she did not mention it in her CV. She just felt, well, it's what everybody in my department does. We need to be thinking about how the things we have, the skills, our experiences as people, how do they translate into desirable skills that recruiters and business owners want? A recruiter would want someone like this because this kind of person would understand the business space in Nigeria. This kind of person would understand or would already have a network of some vendors in the Corporate Affairs Commission with the Immigration Service. And that is key, meaning that you're not starting from the scratch. So if this business, for example, was an importing business, you're not starting from the scratch as a business owner to start looking for, okay, how do we get into CAC? This person already has a network of contacts that will make the work easier. So these are the kind of things we need to be looking at when we're writing our CVs or when we are writing our resumes. I keep using that interchangeably because we use it interchangeably here. Okay, so I'm just going to move on to the next slide. Okay, now I'm going to tell you the secret of the applicant that stands out to recruiters. There is one secret that candidates that stand out all the time have. Now, I've met people, and I'm actually one of those people that out of all the jobs I've applied for in my life, I think it's only one that I did not get a call back. There are people like that. And it's not because I have all the skills or because, when they put out the job advertisement, automatically I have everything. No, it's about being able to target what the recruiters want or what the business owners would want to hear. And because I'm able to do that effortlessly, I always get called back when I put in a job application. And I'll tell you the secret. The secret is in you being able to answer this question. What can you offer? And then if you're able to answer it and you're able to answer this question well, then you will be that applicant. Your application will stand out. The mistake a lot of us make when we're preparing our resumes, the first resume I wrote in my life, the way I wrote it was, I was graduating from university. I finished from OAU. When I graduated, we needed, of course, the next thing was, you need your CV when you're going to camp. And then I just saw some of my mates, they were writing CVs, and I just collected a CV template from one of them and then changed the details to suit what I wanted. And that was what my CV looks like. And that is what a lot of CVs look like. We don't think about what we have to offer on the jobs we are looking for. We just write out, things that sound nice. A lot of times when you go back and even read what you are writing, you laugh at yourself. It's, you need to look at what kind of jobs am I looking at? And then what do I have that I can offer this job? If you successfully answer this question, you're going to have an application that stands out. Now, for you to be able to successfully answer that question, there are certain things you need to do. The first thing is you need to know who you are. A lot of people don't even know who they are. I meet with candidates all the time. What kind of job are you looking for? And then they say, Biolu, just anything. See, if it was my own business, I would not recruit you. I would not even call you for an interview if you're looking for anything. It means that you're just looking for somebody that, you come in the morning, you come and then you take my money at the end of the month. Yes, you shall do the work. No, We need people that are passionate, people that have a clear line. See, fulfillment is two ways. It's not just about the employer getting their own end of the bargain. Oh, I want you to do this and this for me. If you're not fulfilled on that job, you cannot put in that extra effort. So you need to define yourself as a candidate. It does not mean that, once you now define yourself, all the jobs you now be applying for example, if what you wanted to do, if you're looking at a job in IT, for example, it does not mean that all the time, everything has to now be IT, but it's going to be a bit related. And if you want to apply for a job that is outside, your own plan, then you would have to now tweak your CV to fit that. So now, to be able to answer the question of who are you, some of the things you need to do, you need to ask yourself, what is the definition of career success to you? What will make you feel like you're successful in your career in the next 2 years, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? I'll give an example of myself. I work in something called advisory. I do advisory for students. In the next 2 years, my career success is probably going to be tied to my pay. Like, I want to be able to earn this kind of amount of money. In the next 5 years, I should at least be managing a team of maybe 20, or I should be managing managers of teams. That's the kind of thing I'm looking at. So you have to be able to give yourself a definition. What will career success mean to you? For some people, being successful in their careers means, I should be working in a multinational. So you might not be working in a multinational immediately, but it means that the kind of your 2-year job should be leading you in the direction of a multinational. The kind of multinational you want to work in, what do they do there? Is it banking? If it's banking, or even if you cannot get a banking job immediately, you might want to get with maybe a microfinance, if you can get, or maybe with an accounting firm or something, so that you have the skills that will be able to fit into the banking job. You want to think about maybe doing your ICANN or some banking IT software training that can help you get into that job that would be your definition of success when you're 5 years and then when you're 10 years. Now, the kind of things that help you to answer this question are the kind of job opportunities you're looking for. Anything should not be in your dictionary. That's unacceptable. Anything is not acceptable. Even your anything you can give it a name. So for example, your anything could be, I would like to work in, let's say, I don't mind being a front desk officer or a client relationship manager at this time, for a start, so that after that, I can, find my way into an HR role. And then maybe after that, I can then specialize. So just have a plan. It does not mean this plan will be rigid, but it guides you. It guides your application. Then you are not that candidate that is just applying today, oil and gas, tomorrow banking, day after tomorrow teaching. Your application is further streamlined, and it helps you to be able to land better chances of getting called back for an interview. Another thing you want to look at are the skills and experiences and certifications that will define your success. Now, if you are the anything kind of person, you have an issue with being able to streamline your job search or even your own personal development. If you want to work in IT, you know the kind of skills you would need. You know the kind of trainings, you know the kind of certifications you would need. But if you keep saying anything, today you will do a training in IT, tomorrow you will do another one in teaching, the after tomorrow you will now go and learn digital marketing. At the end of the day, you would have done a lot of things, but they are not streamlined for anything, so you are not attractive to anybody in particular. And that is a problem. You've spent a lot of money getting trainings, you spent a lot of time, you've put in a lot of effort, a lot of hard work, but at the end of the day, it is not useful to you because of the way you went about it. So that's another thing you want to look at. And then the last thing is defining your career is going to help you set your expectations. You know where you expect to be. There is a clear guideline for you. There is a vision, there is direction for your life. It inspires you to do more. So the first thing you need to do before you can even think about a resume is, who are you? And I'm asking this question career-wise. Now I'm going to go into the framework of a resume. I'm sure that this is one of the things you're expecting to learn on this training. What should your resume look like? I'm going to run through these because I know that you probably know what a resume looks like. What I'm going to just put in, I'm going to say one or two things about each section of a resume so that you're, in case you're one of my culprits, like I like to call them, so you can make adjustments after this training. Now, every CV should have the following in no particular order. So there is no particular order. Of course, you want to put your name and contact details first, but it's up to you if you want to put education immediately after, or if you want to put your skills, your professional summary and all of that. Usually, I like the name to come first. Of course, that's a given. Your name and contact details should come first. In writing your name and contact details, your name should be bold as possible. I'm not saying too large like a placard or something, but it should be legible so that it's easy to place who owns the CV. And then the next thing you want to look at is your contact details. Some common errors when you're putting your contact details. It doesn't have to be too long. They're not coming to visit you. So yes, number something, so close or present, Ikeja, Lagos is fine. You don't have to tell us behind something police station. You have limited space. And nobody really does so much with it. They just want to have an idea of where you live. In the past, yes, they used to send letters because, it was not an email world, but now it's an email world. So people will most likely contact you via your email before they use your contact details. So you can limit the address as much as possible. Then the next thing you want to do is your contact details. Please, please, and please. I'm saying this especially to the Nigerians here. Please, and please again, if it's possible for you to have one major number that is always on, I'd rather you put that one major number than you put, I don't know, what do we even do with this many numbers that we have in the ways? So please put a number that is functional. It is not every promo that MTN and Glo and this thing advertises. You now remove one thing, you put another one, put one, and then the day they need you, nobody can contact you just because you're trying to get one bonus from MTN or Glo. So please put a valid, you should have one line that is always reachable, that is easy to connect with. So that should be your number, your phone number. Another thing you can put in is if you have a website. So for people that will be applying for things like writing jobs, or you need a portfolio jobs, for example, you model and stuff, you might want to put in like a website. Your LinkedIn page is a sort of website, is a kind of career website, so you can put in that address there, so you can put in the link. But please don't put in your LinkedIn page if you have not cleared out your LinkedIn. So please go and fill in all the sections of your LinkedIn application, of your LinkedIn page. Go and fill it in there, your career objective, are you looking for a job? Fill everything in there, your work experience. And then you can even ask people to recommend you. People you've worked with in the past, ask them to put recommendations there for you so that your page looks good. If it doesn't look good, please don't put it in your CV. But it should always look good, because even if you don't put it, some recruiters will still actually take the liberty to go and check out who you are. So you might want to put in either a website or your LinkedIn page. Now, your professional summary. We don't have so much time, so I'm not going to be digging very deep into all of this, each of these things. Now, your professional summary is usually between 30 to 50 words. It is not supposed to just be something that has to be on a CV, which is what I've noticed with a lot of people. When I say CVs, you just feel like, oh, professional summary, we should have to put something there, so you just put anything there. No, your professional summary is it's short. It's like you selling yourself. It's like someone telling you, sell yourself within the, excuse me please. Okay. Sorry. All right. So it's like an opportunity for you to be able to sell yourself. So sell yourself. And how do you do this? You can do this by, you can mention some of the things you've done, some of the places you've worked in the past, the best of your skills, and how it relates to the job you're applying for or the kind of roles you're looking for. I wish I just noticed I didn't put in some examples of professional summaries here. But hopefully for people that follow me, I have some materials on that. You can request for that later. Or if I have people on Aspire Hub asking for this, I can maybe send links so that you can see what a professional summary should look like. And so I have some formats that you can also follow to be able to create a short one for yourself. The next thing is your skills. There are two types of skills. You have the soft skills and then your professional skills. All the skills on your CV or your resume should be related in one way or the other to the kind of job you're looking at. So don't just go and put a list of different skills, because people write go-getter, what's that? What did they write again? Organized. If you're not organized, there is no point putting organized there. I'm somebody that struggles with organization. It's something I have to use IT tools and all of that to do, because it is not my natural strength. You will not find it on my CV. Your CV should resonate with your personality. Anybody that picks it up should be able to say, oh yes, this is so you. And see, a lot of these things, it's very easy to see someone that is organized. It's very easy for me to know from a CV. If you're organized, I will know just by the way your CV is. So don't think that by putting some things there that, oh, it doesn't necessarily make that the fact that you put it there doesn't mean that whoever is reading it will believe that it's there. So be as true to yourself as possible. Another thing I always say is that whatever skills you're putting in your professional, in the skills part, it should reflect in one way or the other in other parts of your CV, whether in your work experience, your professional qualifications, your educational history. It should still come up in one way or the other. So if, for example, you say that you have excellent writing skills or excellent presentation skills, maybe somewhere in your work experience, maybe you've worked as maybe a salesperson, and as a salesperson, maybe you used to make presentations or you used to design and present to clients. So you can see that way you matched that skill to an experience later on in your CV. For people from Canada, because I understand that we might have some Canadians here, Canada is very big on skills. There are two types of CVs when it comes to Canada. You have the functional CV, you have the chronological. For the functional CV, it is very, very big on skills. In fact, your skills is all you are highlighting in a functional CV. That's basically what you're highlighting. So please be true to yourself. Mention things that you've done, skills that are going to be in the jobs that you mention later on in your CV. Very, very important. If you're not sure of different kinds of skills, I have materials on this too. Or you can just go online and find out what kind of skills can I put into a CV. Another thing you can do is look for the skills that are desirable for your dream job. So you can type into Google, what kind of skills should a computer engineer have? And then you find a list of skills that are relevant. So there are so many resources that are available to you that can help you. So look for skills that are relevant to your job, and then the ones you have, highlight it on your CV. The ones you don't have, if you think they are important for the kind of jobs you're looking for, then start looking for ways to be able to get the skills. And you can get them through volunteer experience, by taking a training, doing an online course, taking a master's, just to get the kind of skills you need to for the kind of job you're looking at. The next thing is your work experience. When you're putting your work experience, of course, you want to put your job title, the place where you got this experience, that's the place of work. You want to put the dates, Usually, I prefer you to put your month and year. So say January 2019 to December 2020. So you need to put that in there. And then you put in the things you did. So like your work experience in short bullet points, what you've done. Now, I'm going to speak a little about this. For Canadians, you're going to just be putting in the experience on the job in bullet points if you're doing a chronological CV. For both Nigerians and Canadians, please, when you're highlighting your work experience, you need to think like your recruiter, or you need to think like the owner of the business you're applying to. What are your... Okay, I'm going to talk a little about this later, so don't let me go into it now. Then the next thing we want to look at, and then I said in a chronological order, so don't mix everything up. So don't start with, in 1999 you worked here, and then next you put where you worked in 2000, and then after that, 2020, then you now come back to 1998. No, it's either you start from the most recent to the oldest, or you start from the oldest to the most recent. Usually, most people will start from the most recent to the oldest. That's what most people do. Sometimes, a few times, some people flip it over if they feel like they had more experience in the past that has to do with the job description than what they are doing now. So they might flip it over, but that's in rare situations. If what you've done recently matches what you're applying for, then start from the most recent to the older ones. Then other things you can put in, this is not compulsory, but if you have them, you can put them, your professional qualifications, awards, projects you've worked on. Then you also want to put in your any leadership experiences you've had. You can okay. It's not that anyone you can put there. Then the next thing you want to talk about educational, for the last three, for your qualifications, educational history, and your work experience. Okay, so sorry, because I think my network. So sorry. Okay, so for your professional qualifications, your educational history, you can flip it over. It does not have to come in this order. So you can change the way it appears. You can even put professional qualifications before your work experience if you feel that is a stronger point for you than your work experience. If you think your education is your strongest point, you can put it first before you put other things. Then your educational history, you mentioned the schools you attended with dates. You can take it as an opportunity, put in 1 or 2 lines about spectacular things that you did in school. If, for example, you finished a very strong CGPA, you might want to put that there. If you're not, if it's not your CGPA, if, for example, you made vice president of the association, or you volunteered when you were in school, or you did something spectacular, you might want to put it under educational history after mentioning what you did. If in your high school example you were a prefect and you organized this event, you had maybe 2,000 students that attended, then you might want to put that there. And then another thing to put on your CV, your hobbies, your interests. Please, nobody cares if you know how to fry plantain, except you're applying for what they call it for a job as a chef. If you're not applying as a chef, please, the hobbies and interests we are talking about should in some way relate with the job. Now, I could say, for example, that traveling is my hobby if the kind of job I'm looking at might involve a bit of travel. So it does not have to be totally dogmatic. I'm not saying what you like. Talk about how it relates to one way or the other.
Hello,
do you understand?
Hello. I wanted to give you a little bit of feedback from the poll that we just received. 50% of the people in this room graduated between 1 to 2 years ago. And then we have 38% that graduated more than 4 years ago. And we have 13% undergraduate. Also, we have 75% unemployed. so you know what your audience is like.
Okay, thank you so much.
Really,
That's so helpful.
Yeah, there are people that we really need this because you want to get the job. Okay, so I'm going to hand the poll and then I will let Biolu take it away. Thank you guys for filling the poll.
All right. Yeah, so sorry. I didn't know you had lost me there. Okay, so I'll just go a bit over maybe the last 2 or 3 points that I mentioned. Okay, so the first is I was talking about in arranging your CV, always have the name and contact details first, please. Your professional summary should come after and your skills should come after. Every other thing can be interchanged depending on what you feel is the strongest part. And thankfully for that poll, it just reminded me, if you're a fresh graduate, you're just completing your service and you've not done a lot of maybe internships, volunteer work when you were in school, then you might want to put your educational history first, because that is going to be a bit richer than your work experience. And then if you have any professional qualification, you want to put it after. And then after that, you put your educational history. So that's the way to arrange your CV. If, however, your work experience is more than what you feel, maybe, for example, you've worked for maybe 2 to 3 years, you don't have a master's, you've not done any professional qualification, then you want to put your work experience immediately after your skills, because that is kind of your strongest point. So you know what they say about putting your best foot forward. So you just look for what is your best foot, and then that is what you want to put forward. Then the next thing, I talked about professional qualifications, leadership projects and awards. You can put that on your CV. And educational history, I spoke about you being able to put in, don't just write what you did. You can put in 1 or 2 lines about spectacular things that happened to you when you were in uni. And don't you even sit there and think that, oh, nothing spectacular is happening to me right now, I'm in school. No, there are things that you're doing that you just don't take notice of. When I was in school, for example, I studied Greek, funny enough. And at some point in my life, or when I was studying, there's something we call farm year. When you're studying Greek in the university I graduated from, it's like a year where you're just doing like IT on the farm. And sometimes you have a lot of time on your hands. And during that farm year, I volunteered for the theater arts department in my school. And I used to act with them. I did stage plays. I learned stage management and things like that. By the time I graduated, that fed into my CV as one of the hobbies or one of the things I did when I was in school. When I was in OAU, I just put it there that, I am stage managing of plays for the number of the number of audience I did it for and all of that. And after I got my second job, my manager actually told me that was one of the reasons they considered me for that job. They said because if I had done stage plays, it meant that I could face crowds. I could face a lot of people. And so we were 2 candidates on that job that were good for the role, but I got that role. The edge I had was because I put something under my educational qualifications. I didn't just say I went to OAU. I painted the picture of how the university had passed through me. So these are the kind of things you should be looking at when you're talking about a resume. I'm going to rush along now because I'm looking at the time and it's like I talk a lot. Don't mind me. Okay. Now, another thing, see, this one is a secret. I don't share with anybody. I don't share this secret with just anybody. This is what makes your CV stand out. Now, I want you to picture it this way. I said speak in numbers. The reason why any recruiter or anybody wants you to come and work in his organization is to make money. That is the truth. That is the basic truth. See, they can call it any name. They can call you HR officer or HR manager. The reason why you're HR manager is because they want you to manage people. The reason why they want you to manage people is so that people will not quit their jobs and leave the organization, and then they will have to start spending money to recruit another candidate. It all boils back to money. It all boils back to numbers. So if you're applying for this HR role I described, and you just say to the recruiter, I've worked as an HR person before. Well, yes, we know you have the experience. But imagine you being able to say to the recruiter, before I joined the organization I was working in before, the turnover rate of staff was 50%. When I got there, I reduced it to 10%. Then I would, as a recruiter, I want to meet you. Come and help my organization do what you can do. Speak in numbers, speak the language of CEOs. CEOs speak numbers, they don't speak all those things that we speak. Like, I can do, they don't care what you can do. Give me the numbers, show me the numbers. And once you can master the art of speaking in numbers, then you automatically you get a lot of callbacks from recruiters. Now, on the left-hand side here, telling you, picture this. You want to say to someone, this person is applying for the role of a front desk officer. She's worked in that role before. And she says on her CV, under her work experience, some of the things she used to do, welcoming and entertaining of guests. Now, instead of writing that, just writing welcoming and entertaining of guests, imagine if this person told us that I reduced overall costs by initiating bulk purchase of office supplies from wholesalers, which is something that a lot of front desk people I know do. That's for companies where they merge front desk with some HR duties like welcoming and entertaining of guests. So imagine if you were working as an HR person and you notice that every month we're always buying beverages. We buy just one sachet, and you decide that, okay, since we always buy this either ways, why not let's buy in bulk and buy from maybe wholesalers or something, so that we can reduce the cost. If you have done that, a business owner wants to hear that kind of thing. So don't just stop at, I welcomed guests. Think about numbers, the kind of numbers you can speak to the owner of the business or to the recruiter that is handling the application process. And that changes the narrative for you. It makes you desirable as a candidate because you're actually telling people what you can do. Don't lie. I'm not a fan of lying, because if you lie on your resume, you're wasting your time. You have to go and defend that lie. And during the interview, you spend your transport fare. You spend what else? You spend your time, your energy going for an interview that you cannot ace. But if you're applying for a job you think you qualify for, then speak in numbers. So imagine if this person can even tell us the actual amount. So maybe before they used to spend maybe 100,000 naira per month, and she was able to reduce that to 80,000 naira per month. You can calculate the percentage and let us know how you were able to reduce that. So you can just write, reduce the cost of supplies by 20%. You can just put that in there. And that really makes your resume very attractive. I don't know, I'm trying to check how much time we have. Okay, we have just about 15 minutes to go. So I'm going to ask, I just want us to improve this particular one together. So imagine this person, this same person, this is actually a resume I worked on. So this person says, I kept records of guests, time of arrival and departure. How can we make this better? Can anybody just try in the comments? What do you think? How can you say this in numbers? Anybody? Coach Tokwe, you're welcome to try it out too. Anybody is welcome to try it out. I just want to be sure I'm not the only one in this room and that you're actually getting what I'm saying. So if part of your job responsibility was, you kept records of guest time, of arrival and departure, how can you make this statement more desirable to a recruiter or to a business owner? Okay, I'll keep speaking. I'll just keep presenting, and then I'll see if anybody answers the question. I'll come back to this, just so I don't waste more time. Now, this is another favorite part I like. You can see how colorful this page is. Perception is everything. People around here will call it packaging. They'll say packaging. Perception is everything. Let your CV be organized. Organize your CV. Let it look good. Because, well, you're not there to defend yourself. It is only this document that can defend you when you send it out. And how can you do this? Number one, use templates if you're not good with designing on Word. There are lots of templates for you to write your CV right there on Word. Just go to the file option, look for options, and then create from templates. You'll see different templates there. CV templates, yes, resume templates, cover letter templates, you'll find it there, right there on Word. If you don't want to use the one on Word, go to the internet. You'll see tons and tons of resume templates that you can use. You just need to remove the whatever is there and then put in one or two things. I can see a comment. Thank you. Thank you so much, Oluwa Damilare. Oh, this is so beautiful. Thank you, Damilare. So Damilare says she liaised with management. I'm going to take us back to the previous slide. Sorry, just a second. Okay, so instead of saying I kept records of guest times of time of arrival and departure, so Damilare is saying that I liaised with management to analyze, examine, compile information on arrival and departure of guests. So this is just beautiful. You can see how it brings it home better. So it means that you did not just sit down there and then, they told me to take records and I took records. It shows that you take initiative. So yes, you analyzed it, and then you could say something like, I reported. Sorry. Okay, so I'm seeing another one in here. Thank you so much, Hamed. Thank you so much. Okay, so for Damilare, yes, I like the fact that you're putting in a bit of initiative in there, in that you analyzed, compiled the information, and then you reported to management, maybe helping them to see, which guests, if guests, maybe you can analyze the time. So, for example, maybe guests that stay shorter, maybe you notice that they always come back. Whereas the guests that are being delayed, you now notice that they never come back. So you might want to, report that kind of thing to the management, and then that kind of thing is what you put on your CV. So that's a beautiful way to put it, Damilare. From Hamed says, keeping an accurate timeline of client arrival and departure for improved record efficiency. Beautiful. Now you've put in a bit of life into that. You can see life coming in. And what a lot of people do is what I have put on my PowerPoint here. People just say, I kept records. I sat there, I made tea, I did this. No, think about how your job, how it actually leads to sales, how it leads to making the workplace better, and then try to replicate that in your CV or your resume. Thank you so much, Damilare and Hamed. I'm so happy to know that at least people are following. I know I talk a lot, so I was a bit bothered about whether I was speaking to myself. Okay, so I was talking about perception, and I've told you, you have free templates on Word, Microsoft Word. Go and look for a template and use it to organize your CV. The advantage of using a template is that you don't have a lot of formatting issues. When you create templates by yourself, if you are not very good at using Word and Microsoft tools, sometimes you have issues with formatting. So sometimes you find one part of your CV is extending here, another one is extending to this side. But when you have what do they call it now? When you use a template, the template helps you organize everything and it looks good. Okay, another thing you want to do is, because of the limited amount of words that you can use, your CV should not usually exceed 2 pages. It should not exceed 2 pages. If you're in Canada, it cannot exceed 2 pages. If you're in Nigeria, 0 to 5 years work experience, it should not even exceed 2 pages. Whatever it is you're writing, it should not exceed 2 pages. There are a few people that the higher they go, the CV might exceed, depending on the kind of jobs they are applying for. But usually you have just 2 pages to write everything. In fact, for fresh graduates, you can do a 1-page CV. So you need to use keywords and punchlines. keywords and punchlines that would drive home the point. Instead of you writing a lot of story, I help this one to do this one, to do that one, to do that one, and then you guys just like, okay, next. So use keywords and punchlines that are important, and that is by speaking in numbers like we talked about in the previous slide. Then another thing you want to do when you're sending out your CV, first and foremost, if you're sending by email, please convert it to PDF. Convert to PDF. Don't send a CV alone. Even if they ask for only your CV, put a cover letter. Put a cover letter. If you're using a template, usually most templates come as you have the CV template and then you have the cover letter template. So use a CV, the same cover letter template for the CV. Create your cover letter, create your CV, and then send everything, send it together, convert both of them to PDF and send. Then when you're sending, please don't send a blank email. Don't just attach and send. Type in a short email. Dear so, maybe the name of the person, or dear recruiter, please try as much as possible. Nigeria is very big on respect. Put a Mr. Dear Mr. somebody, or dear Mrs. somebody, if you know the title, dear whatever, somebody. Yes, a lot of organizations go by first name, but it's just appropriate because you don't know this person. You're not sure if they go by first name on first name basis or not. Just put a Mr. in there, comma. I trust my mail meets you well. That's not compulsory. You can just say, oh, I learned about this position from somewhere, and then I would like, please find my cover letter and CV attached. A short email, then attach your cover letter, attach your CV. But please don't send a blank email. And then your subject line, put in an appropriate subject line. Maybe the job title you're applying for, or if you were referred from someone, put the referral and then just explain yourself. Don't send an empty email, send PDFs. If you're applying through a company's portal, that's on a company's website, sometimes it's advisable to use a Word document, because there are certain characters that these IT machines might not be able to read when the company uses, I can't remember, a software for the recruitment process. So you might want to upload in Word. But if you're sending, please send in PDF so that your formatting does not scatter if the person is not using the same Word template as you are using. Then finally, this is something I would always tell you to do. Always get help. When you're writing your CV, look for someone that can help you go through your CV. After you've finished writing it, just like a second pair of eyes, let the person just look at it. Now, you want to look for somebody that knows what he or she is doing in your field. So look for someone like that. Let the person look through your CV if maybe there are one or two things that the person can change. If you know that you are not a good writer, there are people like that. It doesn't mean you're not brilliant. It doesn't mean that you don't know what you're doing. It's just that not all of us are gifted with everything. So if you're not a good writer, get a professional CV writer to do your CV writing for you. Don't keep shooting yourself in the leg because, well, I can do it by myself, or I'm a graduate. We have our strong points. There are things that I don't know. I told you today now that I'm not good at organizing. I'm not good at it. But I'm learning, and I use IT tools to keep myself organized. So if your weakness is writing, then get help in writing your CV. Even if you're good in writing your CV, let a second pair of eyes look at it for you. There might just be one or two things you need to change. We're not talking about cover letters today, but I will just say one or two things about cover letters. Usually your CV is pretty much, you use the same CV most times for most of your job applications. For your cover letter, you need to always tweak it to fit the job that you're applying for. So don't use the same cover letter all the time for any job. Make sure that you highlight your skills and your experience and the way it relates to the job in your cover letter. And I think that will be it for today. Any questions, comments, feedback?
If you have a question, you could either type it in the chat or you could raise your hand. I can see that Damilare has raised his hand.
Yeah, okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you very much for the wonderful session, Ma. actually learned a lot. But there's something that I actually want to verify. So regarding the template for the resume, we're talking about a professional summary. So I want to ask if a professional summary is actually compulsory. Like, is it compulsory for you to include it in your resume?
Okay, so I would say that a professional summary is not compulsory, but if you ask me, I would say please put in a professional summary. It's like your punchline. It's like the opportunity for you to market yourself in a short, in 30 to 50 words. So it's not compulsory, but please, for the sake of you coming to this training, please put in a professional summary. Just don't use, what I don't want you to do is don't just take somebody else's professional summary because you're in the same field and use it as yours. Think about what's peculiar about you. I'm going to share, I don't know if you're a member of Aspire Hub, but I'm going to share a link to a template for creating your own for creating your own professional summary that I've created before. I have something like that. It's just a very short thing. You can just look at it and then you can create yours from it.
Okay, thank you very much. Because I was actually confused. I was confused because I think that you don't actually need I was thinking that you don't actually need the professional summary because your CV is already like stating your overall achievements and the bullet points with the skills and experience that you have. So I was actually confused as to why a professional summary is needed.
Okay, so let me thank you for clarifying that. I like the way you mentioned it because it's giving me a bit of clarity as to why you're asking the question. I'll put it this way. For every single job that I've worked on, usually we're looking for 1 or 2 candidates. We get at least 300 applicants. Let me tell you the truth. Most recruiters don't read through every single application. So what people do is what most recruiters do is they just look through the CV in one single glance to look for anything that might be interesting about these candidates. One of the major places we look at is your professional summary. We look at your work experience. Then we look at the organization of the CV itself. Does this person look like he or she knows what he or she is doing? And that is what people look at. And that is why it's important for you, because professional summary comes in early. If you can market yourself very well in relation to the career you're looking at, then it's a wonderful thing for you. Please put in a professional summary. Please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Can I take another question? You're welcome. Is Yomi waving at me? I'm waving back.
Okay, somebody asked me on the chat group, because we have a lot of people on WhatsApp who are not able to connect or sign up because of data and connectivity issues using Zoom. What's the difference, and this is a Canadian audience, what's the difference between a professional summary and a cover letter? So a cover letter is something that we use out here in Canada, where after you do your resume, a 2-page resume, which is a compressed, story of how awesome you are. The cover letter is now a personalized letter that you write to the recruiter. 1 page, nothing flowery, just telling the recruiter that you are the latest things in sliced bread, And so could you help us differentiate what the difference between a cover letter? I know we don't use cover letters in Nigeria that much. What's the difference between a cover letter and a professional summary? Or if you are using a cover letter, do you still need to do a professional summary?
Okay, so I think you already did justice to it though. So if you're using a cover letter, yes, you should still put in a professional summary. I think maybe something I can say I've oversaid in this training is always put your best foot forward. You're not going to be there to defend yourself. You're not going to be there to explain that, oh, I thought since I already put it in I have a cover letter already, I don't need a professional. You're not going to be there. Nobody's going to be there to listen to you. And this person has his or her own regular job to do and has to go through another 1,000 CV applications or job applications. So put your best foot forward. Now, what's the difference between a cover letter and a CV? Coach Topper, we use cover letters in Nigeria. We use them now.
Oh, you do?
Yes, we do.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Okay, so your cover letter is a personalized letter to the person, to the organization, or to the person, to the recruiter. And like Coach Topper said, like she said, it's you telling them why you are the next best thing after sliced bread. You're just telling them why you are the perfect fit for the job. Whereas in your CV or your resume, you have a list of everything you've done in your life in there. Now, your what do they call it now? The professional summary parts. Now, I just want to differentiate something a bit. For people in Canada, the professional summary aspect, sometimes they leave it out and then you use a career objective instead. Like you just write the job, the referral link of the job you're applying to as your professional summary, and then you can leave it out. I know that happens a lot for Canadian candidates. I write CVs for Nigerians that are trying to relocate to Canada, so I know this. So sometimes they don't even put the professional summary in there. They just do a cover letter, and instead of the professional summary, you use a career objective, and then that's just you want to do this in reference to this job or that job that you're applying for. It's usually short and simple. You're not really marketing yourself anymore. That is acceptable for Canadians, but you can still decide to put in a professional summary instead. Like I always say, if you can, please put your best foot forward. If you're doing, put your best foot forward and put in a professional summary. Simple. Thank you.
Sounds good. There's a question in the chat. Thank you very much, Biolu. That's really good. There's a question from Victoria. She wants to know if you can add a work experience that is not related to the job you are applying for. For example, you are applying, you have work experience as a teller, whereas you're applying for a role in human resources.
Okay, great question there. Now, it's also going to differ if you're a Nigerian or a Canadian, and it depends on the kind of CV you're writing. If you're in Nigeria, I would say that it's always good to put in all of your work experience. The only thing is that if the work experience is not really related to what you're applying for, mention it and don't write a lot of story under it. Just write out anything within the job that might be related, maybe any skills you got on the job that might be related to what you want to do. There is no job that is not related to another. You get some, even if it's teamwork, even if he's working with a team, it's something. So you might just want to talk about, work with a team of 20 or a team of 50. So even if you want to work as a teller and then you worked as a teller and then you're looking at an HR job, interpersonal skills from working with 20 or handling 100 customers in the bank per day can relate into you becoming an HR person. But don't now tell us about everything you did and processed bank transfers. You don't need to put all of that is not related to the job you're applying for. But it's important you put it so that you can explain the gaps. So you need to put in that date so that it doesn't look like, for 2 years, you were not working, you were not doing anything, you were just sitting at home. So please put in the work experience, but don't write a lot of story under it if it's not related. Just look for the parts of the job that may be related and put that. Now for Canada, it's the same principle. Put in the work experience, but don't talk a lot about it. Don't say too much about about the parts of it that are not related to what you want to apply for. Okay? So, yeah, that's that. I think I can see the question, so I'm going to take the next question. Okay, I'm seeing a question here from Hamed. Should CV and cover letter be fused together in the same PDF or separate PDF files? Okay, so this depends. Usually, usually if I'm not asked to put it into one single document, I put it as separate documents and I label appropriately. So I label, for example, I'll say Biolu Tife CV, Biolu Tife cover letter, and send in the same email. But if the job actually, if the job description or the job advert says that you should put it into one, please put it into one as requested. But it's usually better to leave it out as cover letter and CV, so that for some recruiters that might not be interested in your cover letter, they can just pick exactly what they want. And then for some companies that are maybe particular about paper policies, they don't want to print too many papers, then if it's only CV they want to print, then they don't have to print your cover letter compulsorily that way. So please make it separate. But if the instruction says put it together, then put it together. Okay. Any other question? Victoria, I can see your comments. Thank you so much. I'm happy that you got something from it.
Okay. So I want you guys to do me a favor. I want you to hop right in the chat and say something nice to Biolu. Tell her that we love her. Tell her that she's amazing. Tell her that she's been a blessing because she has this that she's just given us. She normally charges for it, but she's put a lot of effort into making this, into compressing hours of classes into something that is helpful. So I want you to hop right in the chat and say something nice. Say thank you. Let her know that we love her. And if you even want to take it a step further, there's a form that I've put on the chat. You can go right on the form and give us some feedback, and I will make sure that she gets those nice words that you guys are going to send across to her. Thank you, Biolu. Thank you, Biolu Tife. Thank you, Biolu's impression. Biolu's impressions. Thank you very much for being a blessing. Thank you for sharing your gifts with us today. Your blessing lives, because this video is going to be shared with a lot of people after this session, and then you never know how many people you'll be taking out of unemployment, underemployment. You never know how many families you'll be feeding and generations that you will be changing by doing this. So we want to say thank you. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless the children. This is the least you will ever be. You will continue to move higher and higher and higher and higher. And Biolu's impressions will be a voice to the world, a voice of hope and blessing to the world. Keep writing. We love your writing. So if a bunch of the flyers we've sent has links to follow her, or Biolu, if you want to just help us write your link to your Facebook and Instagram page on the chat so people can follow. But I think you can easily just Google Biolu. You cannot see any other search. It's unique. You can never see any other person with that name, Okay, yeah, you see, it's right on it's been shared. So our website is biolusimpressions.com, the blog. And then you can follow her on Instagram at Biolu's Impressions NG, Facebook at Biolu's Impressions, and Twitter at Biolu Tife. She's also on LinkedIn. Follow her. There's a lot to learn from her. This is not the core of Aspire Hub's work. We don't hold these kind of sessions a lot, but it's something that a lot of our participants have requested, and that's why we have to get someone that is expert in that space to come around to give us this enlightenment. So it's going to be recorded. At some point, I'll put it on my YouTube channel sometimes in the future, maybe next week or another week, and probably we'll put it on our Facebook page as well, so that people can access this information and use it. She's also going to share a few templates with us that we can use. I'll also make sure that's available. I'll share that on our WhatsApp page and probably put it on the website as well. by all means, we continue to do what we can to make sure that people get out of unemployment, get good jobs, get out of poverty, get a better life, because this is our mandate and this is all we can do. By all means, if you need help, don't be shy. Reach out to us. The email address to reach out to AspireHub is info@aspirehub.org. I have put it on the chat group, info@aspirehub.org. You can shoot us any email at any time. If you have any questions, more questions about resume and CV and cover letter and professional profiles, professional summary, you can also send a question to us. If we are able to answer, we will. If not, maybe we'll reach out to Biolu to come again in the future, maybe next year, to give us another 30 minutes to answer the questions. Or maybe we do a quick Facebook Live, to do quick answers, quick questions and answers. I don't know. You never know where these things can go. But we'll be here to help as much as we can. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for coming. I love you, I appreciate you, and I believe in you. And I'm rooting for you. Cheers. Bye.